So, welcome from Hamburg, from MyGermanUniversity. This is the webinar Study Information Engineering in Germany. And you should be able to see all our speakers for today's webinar, except for the Professor Stahl from Rosenheim, who will still join us. I'm Toby, or Tobias in German, co-founder of MyGermanUniversity, and today I'm honored to host the webinar. I was not supposed to host the webinar, but Jasmine, who you already might know from previous webinars, but unfortunately she got sick. So that's why I will host this webinar today in information engineering. And with me there is one more team member from MyGermanUniversity. Georgie, would you like to present yourself briefly to our audience?
Sure. Thank you, Toby, and hello, everyone, and welcome to our subject webinar today on information engineering. I'm sure it will be very interesting, and I will not talk a lot today because there are a lot of speakers today who will provide you with interesting information. So my name is Georgi, and I'm doing my MA in University of Bremen and Jacobs University of Bremen. I'm studying international relations, and I'm also a scholarship holder of the DAD, which I suppose you know about this organization. So very briefly, I will present what MyGermanUniversity is about, and then we'll hand it over to Toby again, and then to our rest of the speakers. So I will share with you the screen shortly. You must see now the presentation.
Yes.
Yes. So cool. So MyGermanUniversity, as you might already know, for those who are attending regularly our webinars, is Germany's largest database of English taught study programs, which is based in Germany, in Hamburg. And to state shortly, our mission is to help students like you on their way to study in Germany. So we do it through our providing our services, like providing the webinars for you, also through our platform, which you can see on our slide, our study finder, where you can navigate through various programs of bachelor and master's degree taught in English in Germany. And also with the help of our expert counselors who are regularly answering your questions or creating articles for you in various languages so that you have all the necessary information for you to come and study in Germany. Here you can see, talking about articles, you can see that we have already more than 70 comprehensive articles, which I can guarantee that if you read and go through these articles, if not 100%, you will get answers to 95% at least of your questions, because they're very comprehensive. And on the left side, you can see on the panel, you can also easily navigate through the topics that are interesting from you. For example, scholarships, requirements, if you uni assist, or specifically if you want information about technical universities, you can all find it here. So as I also mentioned, we have webinars. We are conducting webinars regularly, and approximately 150 webinars per year, and one of which is today, and you are attending it. So we have about various topics, our webinars, like application strategies, COVID-19 updates, subject webinars like today, scholarships, visa, uni assist, study in Germany in general, like general topics, and etc. So I encourage you to register for the webinars on our webpage of mygermanuniversity.de, which I will share in the chat also. And we have webinars in not only in English, by the way, but also now we have in Russian, in Portuguese, in Italian, in Spanish, and etc. So, and it will be even more. This is a spoiler alert. And yeah, so as I mentioned, MyGermanUniversity is based in Hamburg, Germany, but we are an international team. So for example, I'm based in Bremen right now, but I'm from Georgia. So, and we are also have people based in Brazil, in China, in Spain, etc. So, and we are all together working on various topics and sharing with you various experiences to make your experience and your way towards Germany easier and more clear, which is more important. So now I will stop here, not to take a lot of time, and I will just say that I will stay in the webinar, but I will be behind the scenes. I We'll be answering your question in Q&A, and we already have one question. Thank you for that. And also, I would like to mention that you cannot use the chat function, but please follow the chat attentively because I will be sharing some important links to articles or some GPA calculators depending on the topic and your questions. So pay attention to chat and good luck. I'm sure you'll get all the answers today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Georgie. So then I will take over. So our today's topic is study information engineering in Germany, which a subject that belongs to different other subjects. So it has got to do with computer engineering, with electrical engineering, communication, and data science. And I'm really looking forward to learning more about this subject. And we will get all the information firsthand from our special guests. And I'm really glad that we will have three different universities from all over Germany as special guests today. We will start with HAW Hamburg, which is Hamburg University of Applied Sciences, Professor Martin Lapke. Then we will head over to Germany's capital, Beuth University of Applied Sciences, Berlin, with Professor Markus Purat. And at the end, we will have a university from the very south of Germany, Technische Hochschule Rosenheim, which is Rosenheim Technical University of Applied Sciences. Professor Stahl is still missing, but he will join us in a few minutes, I'm pretty sure. To all our guest speakers, if you want, you can deactivate your microphone and your camera right now. We will get back to you right after the overview, which I will provide right now. So in this first section, we want to provide you with some basic information about the subject. And let's start with how you can find the different study programs in Germany. And we want to recommend you two databases that are really useful in order to find the degree programs. Let's start with the official database, which is called Hochschulkompass Higher Education Compass, provided by Germany's Rectors Conference. And there you will find all the study programs, may it be in German or in English. As for information engineering, you will have to use a workaround because they don't cover the subject information engineering, but different similar ones, which are called computer engineering or engineering informatics. Higher Education Compass mainly covers or is really useful for German taught programs. As for the English taught programs, they have a little less than we do at MyGermanUniversity. But nonetheless, it's highly recommendable. And if you want to study in German, this will be the first reference. If you prefer to study in English, you should have a look at our database because it's the most comprehensive one. On MyGermanUniversity, we research the study programs directly on the university's website. That's why we have Germany's largest database of English taught study programs. And as for information engineering, you will find approximately 50 degree programs, 57 to be exact. The majority of those programs are on the master's level, whereas on the bachelor's level, you will find only 8, but today you will get to learn about one firsthand. You will find mainly English-only taught programs, but also programs that have a mix, half German, half English, for example. To get an overview of this subject, we highly recommend that you have a look at the subjects page, which you find here, or you can also see a screenshot of the page. And there you will find all the important information about this subject, starting with different rankings, international rankings, national rankings, an overview about the tuition fees. You might have heard that at public universities in Germany, you don't pay tuition fees. And you will learn more about the application, for example, the different intakes, how the admission works, and the different language requirements. As for the language requirements, they vary from university to university, so please make sure to research the details directly on the university's website. How to find the perfect program for you is really a tricky question. So that's why we recommend that you don't let you guide only by the big names, such as the TUs in Germany, but that you have a close look at the different university profiles and the study programs. And I'm really happy that today we will showcase universities of applied sciences, which is a university type that is really unique for Germany and a couple of other few countries, so that you can learn more about this university profile. And don't take only rankings or fees or cities into account. Germany has such a broad and varied university landscape that you will find your perfect study program for sure. What you need to know about Germany's higher education landscape is that there are different types of university. And the first university type that you should know about is called Universität in German, or university in English. So that's the classic university type that has centuries of history in some cases. And all the big names that you might know from your home countries fall into this category. So the majority of these universities are public ones. You might have heard, for example, about the TUM in Munich or RWTH Aachen universities and so on. So big, mainly public universities, and in our case, oftentimes technical universities. The second category is called University of Applied Sciences, or in German Fachhochschule, Hochschule für angewandte Wissenschaften. And this university type has a shorter history. It popped up only 50 years ago and is still an innovation to Germany's higher education system. And the idea was to have a second university type that is more oriented towards application of knowledge. And our guest speakers will tell you how this concretely works just in a few minutes. And all our three guests fall into this category: HAW Hamburg, Rosenheim TH, and Beuth Berlin. Just to distinguish the two parts, what do they have in common? What is the difference? First of all, we need to say that you can take bachelor's and master's degrees at both university types. They are recognized in the same way. They provide you with the same employability, and they are as popular. So they are as good in a nutshell. But they also have some differences. Universities cover the full range of subjects, whereas the universities of applied sciences focus on applied sciences. Their focus is application, whereas the universities do more research, but we also need to add that universities of applied sciences also research. The category of the professors might be different, because at UAS you usually have professors that come from the industry, so they need to have at least 3 years of work experience besides from their PhD, whereas at the universities they need to have a second scientific qualification, which is called the habilitation. And in general, the universities of applied sciences are smaller, on average 5,000 students. Now you will get to know about 3 programs offered by universities of applied sciences. And let's start with information engineering, a bachelor's program offered by HAW Hamburg. And I'm glad to welcome Professor Dr. Martin Lapke, who is a professor of fundamentals of electrical engineering in Hamburg. So it's just a couple of 100 meters away from our headquarters of MyGermanUniversity. It's really an attractive university of applied sciences, one of Germany's biggest ones with 17,000 students. It's public. And to get a first insight of how studying information engineering at HAW Hamburg works, we would like to show you a video which takes 1.5 minutes. And right after that, Professor Lapke will explain to you more about the program. So let me share the video with you.
My name is Moon. I'm from South Korea, and I study information engineering. Information engineering is comprised of 3 factors: computer science, electrical engineering, and we actually learn how to use all of them. So for example, if you are working with microcontrollers, then you use programming to program the microcontroller, and then how it works, we learn it in electronics. Of course, you need a lot of basic knowledge, which is hard. But then once you get past the basic knowledge, the barrier, then you can play with things, and that's how you build things. So that's the best part. It's a very cozy campus where you basically walk around and meet like half the people that you know. And then you can chill at the park in front of us. It's a very friendly environment. Germans are actually a minority in our program. So it is so diverse that you're not just like one foreign student in the classroom full of Germans, but actually people understand where you're from, they remember your name, and you don't feel like you're left out because you're just one foreigner from this one country out of 60 countries.
So thank you very much for this first insight. Yeah, I already learned a lot, and I already saw you, Professor Lapke, in the video, and now I'm looking forward to your presentation. It's your turn.
Thank you very much for the introduction, for the kind introduction. And I thought that, yeah, there's no better way than let really students talk about information engineering. And actually, this video was full of real students and real lecturers, so we didn't hire any actors or actresses to somehow pretend they were studying information engineering. Maybe the remark on cozy campus and meeting people is not really valid at the moment, but yeah, due to the pandemic situation, things are a little bit different. Yeah, so I'm very glad to give you a short introduction to our study program here, and also with me is Ms. Reinking. She's our international student coordinator. And in case you have any particular questions on the application process, she's the expert and can give you more information than in the QA section. 2 slides on our university, and we heard already more or less everything. So we are one of the largest University of Applied Science, and here in Hamburg, we are the 2nd largest higher education institute. Founded in 1917, so last year we had our 50th birthday, as already heard, and we are a member of the University of Applied Science 7 Alliance, which is a close collaboration for a research institution. Yeah, some more numbers on our international students. So we have about 2,500 international students from 100 different countries here. In our university, we have 9 degree courses that are fully taught in English, and one of those is our, or it's also the only bachelor program, is the Bachelor of Information Engineering. So maybe just, I guess you all know what is information engineering. I just found here this schematic of a mobile phone, and that pretty much captures what is information engineering. So information engineering is a combination somehow of nowadays electronic systems in such a mobile phone. For example, you have microcontrollers, bus systems, sensors. It somehow runs with operating systems, and on the operating systems you have software. So the combination of all somehow is covered in our study program. So why information? Because it covers all the different parts that I just mentioned. So we have the world of computer science, we have the world of the electrical engineering, electronics, and the world of information technology. And you see here that are all the lectures that you would somehow run through in your studies. And you see that these different worlds somehow overlap pretty much, and I think this pretty much explains on our study program. Our study program is accompanied by some soft skill lectures like intercultural competence, business and management lecture, and a lecture on scientific and project work, and one full semester of industrial placement, but I will talk on this one in a few minutes. So here's our study program, and I somehow tried to highlight these different worlds. Yeah, so you see the computer science world in blue now. So you see that you get a very good foundation in the computer science right from the beginning of the semester. So you have 2 lectures on software construction where you learn C programming and object-oriented programming. And then in the higher semesters, your knowledge gets somehow deepened with algorithms, data structures, software engineering, databases. And yeah, these lectures, digital systems, operating systems, they somehow live in both worlds, the world of computer science and in the world of information engineering. Here in yellow highlighted, you see the electronics world. Yeah, so also again, in the first semesters, you see some kind of fundamentals. So we teach the fundamentals of electrical engineering in 2 lectures, and then in 1 lecture, the fundamentals of electronics. And in our 3rd semester, we somehow deepen this knowledge with let's say, more elaborate lecture, Electronics 2, and yeah, we somehow move into the digital world with digital circuits, and later on then microcontrollers. I already mentioned, so there's this 3rd world, information technology world, and this somehow is a combination of what to do if you have these somehow data that you gather with your electronics components and how to process it in order to somehow do something. So you have some lectures on digital communication systems in the higher semesters, digital signal processing, and in the higher semesters, in the 6th and 7th semesters, you see here some white boxes. These are courses that you can select from a variety of different lectures, also somehow based on your specific interest and your skills. Yeah? And we have these elective courses in these higher semesters, because in the 5th semester, as you can see here, so maybe I can also hit a pointer. So in the 5th semester, you see that you have a full semester of industrial placement. And typically, after these 3 months of real industrial work, students really know, okay, I really want to go into this direction. And then in the last semesters, you have the chance to somehow deepen your knowledge in that specific areas. You see here still some white boxes missing, and where is my mouse here? Okay. Can you see my the green boxes now? Something here. I think so. Okay, good. You see that these are more or less a mathematical foundation to deal with all these courses. So you have 2 semesters where you really learn the fundamentals of mathematics that you need, and in signals and systems. So this is more sophisticated math that you then need for the information in technology lectures later on in your studies. 2 more lectures that I didn't mention are learning and study methods and learning and study methods projects. So these are lectures where we try to teach you somehow to move into the German education system, how to prepare for exams. And in this 2nd semester, this is a 1-week project where you work in smaller groups and develop some Lego Mindstorm robots that at the end of this week somehow do a competition against each other. Skills that you acquire. So this is from our accreditation program. So we believe that you get a very professionally recognized qualification. This is what Tobias, I forgot your last name, sorry, already in the beginning. So the bachelor degree of University of Applied Science really enables you to later on work in an industrial surrounding. Yeah, so you learn not only practical skills, but also the theoretical background for these different worlds: computer science, information technology, electrical engineering, electronics. Yeah, we try that we adapt our lectures also to all these new developments, and we also point out that this is important for your future career. And we believe that our bachelor degree is a very good candidate for later on master program. Talking on employers, here are just a list of companies where our information engineering students did their internships in, just to mention a few. So here you later on can dig on our website. There's a full list from the last 2 years or something like that. So you can see already here quite popular names of worldwide leaders, but also on this particular German medium-sized companies, which are also very interesting for later employment. Already mentioned, so our study program is extremely international. I just looked to the database that in the last 2 years we had students from over 70 different countries. So we're very proud of that we have so much that there's so much interest in our study program from all over the world. Some particular HAW benefits. So already heard about some scholarships in the beginning. So HAW is also offering some individual scholarships for excellent students. We have some programs where German students and international students somehow partner up, team up, and learn languages from each other. And also we have some older fellow students that support fresh students here in the first semesters to somehow orientate on our campus. I will not go into the details of the frequently asked questions page. This is more to inform you. So you need, for an English taught study program, an English qualification. We only, I will shortly go through these points. We will not charge some private tuition fees, but only the public ones. But in these 300, approximately 30 euros, there's also a ticket for public transport that you can move around in the whole city of Hamburg. And yes, you have to apply through UniAssist. So you need a VPD to somehow come to the HAW selection process.
Yeah, you do not need to apply through UniAssist, but to apply for a VPD, because sometimes this gets mixed up. And I also saw that I made a mistake here. If you are an applicant from Europe, you may apply until July 15th. And if you are not from the EU, you may not apply after May 31st. So this should be added.
Thank you very much. So
my mistake.
Perfect. And one last slide. So here is a link for the video. And we have a rather new landing page for our study program for prospective students, which covers quite some information, but also here on the folder of actual students, you find a lot of details on our study program. And I think I made it in time, right?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much for this comprehensive presentation. As for the application process and the VPD, this preliminary documentation check, please be aware that UniAssist also takes some weeks in order to do this preliminary check. So given that we already have the mid of April, you need to hurry in order to make it in time if you come from outside the European Union. If you are studying or taking your secondary school degree in the European Union, it's still doable. That's not that stressful. That should be doable. Okay, thank you very much. And let's head over to Berlin. I will shortly introduce our second guest, which is Professor Dr. Ing. Markus Purat, professor at Beuth University of Applied Sciences, Berlin. In Berlin, you will find several public universities of applied sciences, and Beuth is one of the three big ones with approximately 13,000 students. It's also public, also highly international, and we are now really looking forward to learning more about your study program in information engineering and communications engineering on the master's level. And I'm also glad that you brought testimonial, a student from Iraq who will then join you in explaining us more about the study program. So it's your turn, Mr. Purat.
All right. Thank you very much for introducing myself. I will now share my screen with you. So can you see my slides?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thanks, Tobias, for the kind introduction. I'm very happy here to have the opportunity to present our master's degree program in information and communications engineering to, I think so many interested persons in the world. I have been introduced already. My name is Markus Purat. I am actually the program chair and academic advisor for this program. Let me just start with a brief overview of our university as well. So we are called the Beuth Hochschule für Technik in Berlin. We are a public university founded not as early as the HAW in Hamburg, 1 year later only. So we are proud to celebrate our 50th anniversary this year, hopefully in a better condition in fall. When we all left behind the pandemic. Might be noted that in fall we will also have a renaming, so we will not longer be called Beuth Hochschule für Technik, but we will be renamed to Berliner Hochschule für Technik. Well, that hopefully does not confuse so much, as we will still have the same three-letter acronym BHT. Right, so yeah, it was mentioned already. We are educating a lot of students, more than 13,000 students in about 70 degree programs. And we also have a great share of international students. And of course, particularly in our international master's program in information and communications engineering, where we mainly have only international students from outside Germany, but some Germans are still left. So we are amongst the 10 largest universities of applied sciences. We have the greatest offer in engineering education actually in Berlin and our surrounding federal state Brandenburg. Our campus is located directly in the heart of the city of Berlin. So normally, besides studying, you can also enjoy the pulsating life here in our wonderful capital. And more than that, we also cooperate with more than 100 universities worldwide. So starting here in Germany and Berlin, and our university may just be the start for your international career. Some words about our program, of course. We established this program already in 2008. And since then, we gathered a lot of experience on what is important for our students. And as one result of this process, we realized that there is a high demand of internationalization. So from both our students, but also, of course, from the German society and industry. And that meant to us that from 2018 on, the program is completely taught in English language now. We are a very small program. We have a limited number of places only, 22 students per year, which has the great advantage for you that, as you can see here, possibly on these images, we teach in small groups, and you will have a close proximity to us lecturers. There is also a little video available. Here, the YouTube link is added to this slide. But I will not show it to you now, but you can just look at it, watch it later. The focus of our program is on engineering, and that means that there is a practical relevance, and we're looking for applications of scientific results rather than doing the basic research, as is typically done only in the universities. That is also reflected a little bit in the final academic title that you may be conferred to after graduating from our program. That is the Master of Engineering. And of course, this degree would also entitle you to pursue your doctoral degree afterwards, either in Germany or other countries. It's a worldwide recognized title. Our addressees are typically, well, they are students with the first academic degree, typically a bachelor's degree, and they're typically from a relevant subject field, which is electrical or electronics engineering, communications engineering, computer engineering, or from the bachelor from our colleagues in Hamburg, information engineering, that will perfectly fit as well, of course. Okay, so what are the requirements you want to start with us? So there are basically two official requirements. The first one is good English language skills, which means you would have to have a level B2 according to this Common European Framework Regulations. So that means you would have to show a test either, or alternatively, if you graduate from a bachelor program where the teaching language was English, that's also perfectly fine. And secondly, you would have to have a first university degree with at least 180 credits according to our European system. So that corresponds typically to a 4 years program outside Europe. And if you have less than 210 credits, then you would have also to complement the normal curriculum that we will discuss in a minute by some additional modules. So these are the formal requirements, just the two of this. And there are some recommendations, which I would also like to add. It's certainly beneficial to have some basic knowledge in the main fields that are covered by this major, so digital signal processing, digital signal transmission, and computer and data networks. And that such knowledge is typically provided in bachelor degree programs of this kind. And that will be completely sufficient, of course. If you do not have the knowledge in one of those fields, then you should at least have a great interest in catching up your knowledge. And the second point is about language, of course, for the program, for being admitted in this program, no need to have German language knowledge. So you can follow the courses, you can attend the courses, but for the daily life here in Germany, and also for enhancing your job perspectives, I would also recommend to have an interest in learning German language, and then at least when you're here in Germany, also carrying out some studies in this, if that is not given by your daily life anyway. Okay, so this is a short overview about the curriculum. We will have will lay a solid basis for working in this field as a Masters of Engineering, while mathematical module here, this mathematical module lays the mathematical foundations for the scientific basis. We have a second required module, which is on software tools, software engineering. And then we address in 3 further required modules the main fields of our programs, which are, as said, computer data networks, mobile and fiber optics communication systems and networks, and multimedia communication systems and processing. And then there are several more elective modules from which you can choose some according to your personal interest. And this is parallelized by 2 modules which are here shown in orange. This is one module from, or 2 modules actually, from elective subjects from humanities, social and economic sciences or languages. And in addition, there is a single 1-year or 2 half-year independent projects, which can, of course, again, be on subjects which you are personally interested in. And then you will do your master's thesis. Now, once you successfully passed the program, what can you expect? In Berlin and also Brandenburg, the situation in this field of information and communications engineering is traditionally very dynamic. So we have a lot of small companies, very often startups, and they are highly service oriented, and they provide their novel and modern technology knowledge about to larger companies or the public sector. However, also in Berlin, the situation has changed a bit, and more global players also discover Berlin as a center of innovation, and that would lead, or that currently leads already, to players like Siemens, Tesla, or Bosch establishing completely new campuses here in Berlin with a nice branding names like Siemensstadt, which is the city of Siemens, or the IoT, so Internet of Things campus in Berlin, or the Gigafactory, also close to Berlin. And also very important, Europe's largest institute for applied research, the Fraunhofer Society, that has also many branches here in Berlin, like, for instance, the Fraunhofer Institute for Open Communication Systems and the Fraunhofer Institute for Communications Technology. Situation in Germany is quite similar, actually. We have many small and medium-sized companies which act as suppliers for some larger companies inside and outside of Germany. And then we have some large companies, and typically they have their global footprint in automotive, health, energy, and industry. So not directly communications, but I'm definitely sure, and it's a fact, that in all these companies, there is definitely a strong demand for you as well educated, highly motivated, very flexible and motivated communications engineers. So when you come here to Germany and get a good education, then it's certain to find a good job market for you. Now, what about application and admission? So if you feel encouraged to apply for this program, then the application window is actually between April 15 and June 15, because we normally start in the winter semester only on October 1st. So the procedure is very simple. You just register online at the Beuth University directly. The link is provided here. This procedure is in German, but there is an English guide provided, which you can also find here the link for. And then you send the registration form together with your certificates to UniAssist again. They will do the evaluation of your certificates, and forward it to our university. So the whole process can be done completely online because we had problems sometimes with the post and written application that was too slow. And then actually admission letters can typically be expected until about mid-July. Once you receive that, you will have to accept the place, and similar as in Hamburg, you have to pay a small admin fee, which includes free public transportation as well in Berlin and Brandenburg. And these 300 euros or 350 euros are to be paid for half a year only, so not every month. Yeah, I think that's it basically. So here's some further information provided, some link which may be helpful if you have more questions. So that concludes my presentation, and now I'm very glad to hand over to one of our master students, Slewa, who is currently writing his master thesis and who is here today as well and can shortly tell you something about the student's perspective about this project. So later, of course, I will be happy to answer questions as well, but now I hand over to Layth.
Thank you, Professor Purat, and thank you, Tobias, as well, for giving me the time. So my name is Layth, and as Professor Purat mentioned, I'm on my master thesis phase now. So I joined the winter semester in 2019, and I was lucky enough to go to the class in the campus. The classes were quite nice. The location of the university is magnificent. It's close to a lot of restaurants and nice cafes. Regardless of that, I think I don't have to tell you how great Berlin is, but let's talk about the program itself. The program itself has some really good quality. That is, as Professor Purat mentioned, the number of students is significantly small, which means that you have more interaction with the professors and your colleagues. And if you have problems, for example, they always help you solve them out. And like, it's more of a community than a big program in which you cannot talk to the professors or you cannot see them. Regardless of that, so the main focus of the program is mainly signal processing, signal transmission, general telecom knowledge, but also it provides a lot of opportunities for network engineers, for routing and switching, for machine learning and software. And there are many classes that even kind of combine the two and like explains them. The university also gives a lot of other opportunities. For example, I had the German class, A1, and it was quite nice. Of course, I think for now you don't get credit for it, but it was quite nice and it helped me gain some information. You can also enroll in some general studies of your interest. And yeah, regardless of that, I think it's one of the best programs. I personally was accepted at 3 master programs for uni assessed, but this one was of specific interest for me because the industry of telecom and communications is quite large, and I'm myself working in it. And as much as knowledge you have, joining the program would definitely give you much, much more knowledge. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Layth. This was really encouraging and really a positive experience that you shared with us. And now I'm glad to turn the presentation to our third guest, whom I will shortly introduce to our audience. And I'm really happy that we have maybe the biggest industry hub in Germany after Hamburg and Berlin, because now we will head over to the very south of Germany. I think we could call Rosenheim still the Munich metropolitan area, because it's only approximately 1 hour, no, maybe even less, 60 kilometers from Munich. And we are glad that Professor Dr. 𝘱𝘢𝘵𝘯𝘪𝘯𝘨 Stahl will present the Master of Engineering in Electrical Engineering and Information Technology. In comparison to the other 2 University of Applied Sciences, Rosenheim is a little smaller. It's only 5,900 students, highly international, the same age as Beuth. And yeah, Mr. Stahl, we're looking forward to your presentation. Now I will, it's your turn. Very welcome.
Thank you very much, Tobias. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I start my presentation. You should see it now.
We can see it.
I cannot see the orange frame that normally appears, but
it's
you can
visible.
see it. Okay. Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm the academic study advisor of the engineering master's program in Rosenheim Technical University of Applied Sciences, and my second function in this program is the examination commission, the responsible person of the examination commission. And I'm happy that my colleague Maria Heinrich also joined the meeting. She's the master program coordinator, very much in contact with the students, and I hope that you can support me if there are questions about admission and so on, Maria. Yeah, okay, I would like to present Rosenheim shortly, the university, and some short information about our program. Okay, let's start with Rosenheim. Rosenheim is quite in the south of Germany, in the southeast of Germany. It's near the Alps, and it's besides studying, you can do many nice things there. We have a beautiful old city center. As you see here in the map, we are close to the border of Österreich, of Austria, and also Italy is not far away here. Yeah, at the moment you will not see people running around like this, like in many places. Everybody wears masks like in Carnival, but hopefully this changes soon. Yeah, this is the surrounding. We have some lakes close to us. We have mountains, castles. I think this is a picture of Chiemsee. We have some important places close to the city. For instance, we have Munich, which is around 40 minutes by train. Probably you know this city with a lot of industry also there. Siemens, Infineon, BMW, Rohde & Schwarz for the communication engineers, for instance. So a lot of industry in our region, and especially in the bigger Munich area. 1 hour per train to Salzburg, 5 hours to the Mediterranean Sea with a train or with a car. Very close to Rosenheim, you find a lot of places for outdoor lovers. So within half an hour train or bicycle, for instance, you find mountains where you can get up. You find places where you can do skiing or paragliding courses, for instance. A lot of nice things besides studying. I will come to the studying in a minute, one moment. This is just an impression of Chiemsee with some mountains taken by some photographer who wandered around. This is another picture that I took on my way home from the mountains with my paraglider. Lake Chiemsee with a castle. Okay, this is enough for the nature. Now we come to the university. Our university the campus is placed around 20 minutes from the city center by feet, maybe 8 minutes, at least maximum 10 minutes by bicycle. And yeah, it consists of some older buildings around 40 years old, 50 years old. This one here. and some very new buildings which have been built in the last 10 years. The engineering department is mainly located in one of the newer buildings, which are around 20 years old. We have around 6,500 students in the university, of which 450 are international. We have around 50 programs, 33 bachelor and 13 master programs. Many of them technically oriented, but we have also programs for architecture and for health. And of course, business administration as well. Now, our master degree that also hosts the specialization electrical engineering and information technology ends with the qualification of the Master of Engineering. It's not the Master of Science, but we give a Master of Engineering because we are a university of applied sciences, which is very practically oriented and not so theoretically focused. The duration of this master is 3 semesters as well, full-time. We can also do it part-time in 6 semesters. 6 semesters is the goal time, or 3 semesters, but you can you have a surplus of 2 semesters here or 4 semesters here. That is the maximum duration. So if you come from abroad, usually you need 1 semester to get familiar with the culture and find your way around in the city to get settled a bit. So usually the international students need 4 semesters. It's a bit stressful if you try to do it in 3 semesters. If you're not used to the culture here. The course starts every winter and in the summer. So you can start both summer semester and also in the winter semester. Usually October 1 and March 15, each 2 times a year. We offer 90 credit points for our master program. So you need 210 credit points from your bachelor. Yeah. So we assuming 210 CPs, European credit points from the bachelor program. Bachelor. And if you bring less, for instance, only 180 credit points, if you did your bachelor in 6 semesters, for instance, then you need to do bachelor lectures or master lectures which comprise 30 credit points in order to get enough credit points to finish your master. So in total, you should end up with 300 credit points. I think this is the same everywhere. Our teaching language is English. So all lectures are given in English. We have no tuition fees as in the other universities. There's no tuition fee, but there's administration fee that you have to pay each semester, not every month. And this is a link to our homepage of the master. We have some specializations. So the engineering master is not only covering electrical engineering and information technology, but it also covers mechatronics, which is also close to electrical engineering, but also contains some subjects, some modules that you can choose from mechanical engineering. And we have pure mechanical engineering and plastics engineering. And in all these 3 fields, you have the choice of some modules. So you're not fixed to a certain number of modules. Our course structure is based on so-called groups, module groups. We have one module group which contains rather theoretic modules, mathematic or scientific modules. You need to get 10 credit points here. That means you have to choose 2 modules per semester, 2 modules which consist of 5 credit points. The MA are application-based modules with usually with a big part, a lab part, accompanying the theory, the lecture. And we have MV modules. MV modules are specialized to the specialization. For instance, if you want to focus on electrical engineering, you have automation, communication, mechanical, mechatronics. And if you want to focus in the direction of information technology, probably communication is more interesting to you. And we have some table of have a list of subjects which can be chosen, MV subjects which can be chosen for each of these specializations. And in total, you have to cover 20 credit points for this. In the MF group, F means more or less free. You are free to choose any of the subjects of the groups before, and some subjects which are offered especially for this group. So this is, you are quite free to choose here. You can also choose German courses to improve your German language in this group. And very special for Rosenheim is the master project. The master project is a work that is done in a team of, let's say, usually 3 to 5 students. It's very peculiar for Rosenheim. So you have usually teams of 3 to 5 students, and you work for 1 semester on a special, very practical project. So this is not a lecture, but you do some programming or some hardware, and of course accompanied by project management, guided by a professor. So this is a project comprising 12 CPs. This is quite special for Rosenheim. Like the master thesis, it's very practically oriented. And of course, we have the master thesis, which is done usually in the last semester. In Rosenheim, most of the students choose their master thesis in a company. So, of course, you can also do projects, master thesis in the university, supervised by a professor. But most of the thesis work is done in a company. So the students search a vacant job in the company where they do their thesis, and they are supervised by 2 professors of the university. Since we are a university of applied sciences, and also our course is very applied science, it means that we have a lot of labs. So almost every lecture, maybe except the MG courses, the courses from the MG group, is accompanied by a lab, which you do usually in the lab of the professor in more or less small groups. A few pictures here that makes you understand the theoretical part of the lecture. Now we come to the admission requirements. If you want to start the master degree in Rosenheim, the master program, you need an above average score. In German marks, it means a mark better than 2.5. We have a very strange mark system. The smaller the mark, the better it is. So 1 is the best, 4 is the worst to pass, and 5 is failed. So it's the opposite way as everywhere in the world. It's 2.5 is approximately 65%. For instance, on the scale in India, with 33% passed and 100% perfect. And it's around 2.55 GPA out of 4 for the US system, for instance. Yeah, if you need a bachelor, a relevant bachelor in electrical engineering, in information technology, or in any other field that yeah, allows you to do engineering master. You need to show an English language proficiency, for instance, of Goethe-Institut, German language certificate. We need A2. That means very basic level. The lectures are not in German, but in order to go shopping, for instance, or communicate with a student residents, you need to know you need some basic German skills. Yeah? Otherwise, you will have a very difficult life. Yeah, as I mentioned, we have different specialization. Probably you are mostly interested in this webinar in the electrical engineering and information technology. We have good contacts to companies. Companies are usually quite close. Munich is quite close. It's half an hour, 40 minutes by train. So many companies are located there. We have also some companies located in the direction of the Austrian border, for instance, Bosch, Siemens, Hausgeräte, Heidenhain. They also take a lot of students from us. Yeah, application can be done from 15th November to January for the start in the summer semester, or from 1st of May to 15th of June for the winter semester. Application is done online. Yeah, maybe if there are questions, Maria can answer them. Yeah, I think I'm more or less at the end. I could show you the list of lectures, but I think I'm already over the time. So if there are questions, we can talk about that. Yeah. Thank you for the audience, for the patience.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Mr. Stahl. I think we have just seen 3 wonderful options that you have. You could opt for Hamburg, one of Germany's most beautiful cities, Berlin, where I, for example, studies Germany's capital, or you could study in the beautiful surroundings of the German Alps and Munich close by. So I think, yeah, it's really great options. And now we have still have some time for a Q&A, and I would like to start with a question that popped up in our Q&A chat. And I think Ms. Reinking wanted to explain a little bit more about how the UniAssist VPD at HAW Hamburg works, and maybe then we can also head over to Mr. Purat, because UniAssist is also necessary for Beuth University. But first of all, Ms. Reinking, would you like to explain a little bit more?
I clicked on the wrong button in
okay.
the FAQs, but of course I can say something about it. Yeah, like I said before, you apply online to our university. So the application process is not done by UniAssist. But before applying online, you need the so-called VPD from UniAssist. Without it, it's not possible to apply. You need to upload it in our online portal. If you're from outside the EU, you need to have this VPD until May 31st. And if you are from Europe, you can apply to our university until July 15th. I hope this answers the question.
Yeah, I think it does. And I just want to add that you international students don't need to be afraid about UniAssist. I know from our daily work that some students are kind of confused about what UniAssist is. UniAssist checks the applications from international students for certain universities who work with UniAssist. As we know from Rosenheim, it's not mandatory. Universities can administer the whole application process also independently. And yeah, it's doable. You should manage your schedules well, because usually, for example, the VPD takes a few weeks in order to get this check done, and then you can only apply at HAW Hamburg in this case. Mr. Purat, do you want to add something for UniAssist and your application process?
Yes, I can do that. I mean, I mentioned it already in the during my presentation. The process actually vice versa compared to Hamburg. So here you first register directly with the university, but you don't have to have the VPD first. Then you get the kind of registration form, which you have to print out, or you get the electronic PDF just at home. You sign it, and you have to add your certificates to this, and then you send it electronically to UniAssist. And then they will evaluate the certificates, which they do for Hamburg as well. But they do it for Hamburg first, and here they do it after you you applied. So that, and I would also like to mention that there is some time spent by UniAssist. So they promise to do the evaluation within 3 weeks, which means that if you apply on June 15 only, which is our latest date, then we will receive the evaluated copies of your certificates only 3 weeks later. And that means, and that's the reason why we only admit at the beginning of July. So we simply have to wait for all the applications.
Okay, thanks again for recapping again the UniAssist application process. I would like to ask another question that might be relevant to international students. Now we have seen 3 really interesting study programs which are really attractive. And we know that there are only few places available for international students. What is your suggestion if I was an international student? How could I improve my application chances, for example, in order to get admitted at your universities? Wants to start?
Maybe I start?
Yeah,
so, if you apply to HAW Hamburg, you have to write a cover letter. And in this cover letter, you should really try to point out why you want to study in Hamburg. It's a HAW Hamburg, so you should know about differences about HAW and university and so on. So you should really point out that you really are interested in exactly what you're applying to, that we get an impression that this person really wants to do what he's applying for. And yeah, some German skills are helpful, so they give extra points. A good English certificate gives some extra points. If you have some work experience, please in the related fields, please attach some certifications that you really have to your application. And if you studied already in your home country for a couple of semesters, please also attach any kind of certificate to your application, because if we do not have any certifications, we cannot account for these extra efforts that you already did.
Thank you. Let's head over to the very south of Germany. Mr. Stahl, Frau Heinrich, what are your suggestions?
I think Professor Dr. Lapke, he already summarized it quite well. So the same also applies for us. Really start preparing your German, or start preparing your German well, and also start with your whole application process as early as possible. Because right now at the moment, what we really experience is, certification and travel restrictions. That all makes it a bit, it takes a bit longer to come here. So really start preparing early, and yeah, you can always ask us any questions. We will always help you with any preparation.
Thank you very much.
Well, talking for Berlin, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
So yes, I can just emphasize, apply as early as possible, because that is very useful, that you that we can send out the admission letters as early as possible. Regarding the chances to study at our university, in our regulations, the main point is really the bachelor's degree grade. So the GPA of your bachelor's degree, that is the key point. And that will be taken as the basis for evaluating whether you will be admitted or not. There are some exceptions for if you have applied earlier already for the program, then that may count as well. But normally it's mainly the GPA of your bachelor's degree. And that's of course because we are a master. So we have some other selection criterion already than just motivation letter or something like that.
That sounds good. Well, I guess we can finish on time right now. I have seen that in the meantime, you've already answered some question directly. I would like to thank all the speakers for your time, for presenting these really interesting study programs. I would like to thank you, all attendees, for watching this webinar. If you liked it, you can give something back to us by rating MyGermanUniversity on Google or on Facebook. If you have any other question, you can just write us an email. We will also forward questions to our speakers today. And in the next days, you will also get the presentations that you just saw, so that you can dive deeper into all the topics that we just talked about. I will close the webinar right now. I will meet the speakers in our private meeting right after this webinar. And I wish you all good luck and stay healthy in these strange times of the pandemic, and looking forward to seeing you in Germany next academic year, maybe. So thank you very much and see you next time. Bye-bye.